So he straight away told me that the product didn't contain certain additives and that's why it didn't work. Jumped to conclusion straight away to additives. So he's starting to list the additives we needed, such as lecithin, guar gum, or gelan gum. He was telling us that the texture would be wrong, it would be sandy, it would be grainy. It was completely dismissive of the entire product. If you want to create food or drink products that actually taste amazing, get the repeat purchases and see your sales go up, you need a flavor strategy. I'm Manon Galizzi, food scientist and flavor expert, and in this podcast I share what I've learned from helping food and drink brands create new products from scratch, choose the right flavor direction, or fix the flavors that are not working. Today I need to tell you about something that happened recently to me and that really frustrated me. But most importantly, I think it shows a massive problem in the food industry that I think you need to be aware of if you are a food or drink brand, especially if you are trying to create a clean label product. I was working with a client on a plant-based product. She had very clear brand values. So no sugar, no seed oil, no allergens, but most importantly, no additive. She wanted a clean label product that was as wholesome as possible. Now, the product I've developed in the lab wasn't perfect. It clearly didn't look like a perfect commercial product, but my client was fine with that. She understood her positioning in the market. She was focusing on how to differentiate herself and how to market the product that stood for something that aligned with her values. We got to the point where we need to see if the product could scale up. So we booked a pilot plant facility with a food scientist who would help us run the machines. I've made the lab sample so we can compare. And this is where things were very, very wrong. So we started the first pilot plant run. And as expected, with any scale up, we had some issues. And this is completely normal. Every time you do a pilot plant run, you do a scale-up run, there are some problems. So we had to make adjustments. But before we could even taste the product, before we can even assess what was going on with the product and the machine, this food scientist started destroying literally my work in front of my client. So he straight away told me that the product didn't contain certain additives and that's why it didn't work. Jumped to conclusion straight away to additives. So he's starting to list the additives we needed, such as lecithin, guar gum, or gelan gum. He was telling us that the texture would be wrong, it would be sandy, it would be grainy. It was completely dismissive of the entire product. But here's the thing, he didn't even taste the product. He was making all of this judgment and assumption and recommendation based on just the look of it, about what a product should contain. And on top of that, in front of my client, he was being so condescending, so patronizing. It made me look like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Sorry for my French. Like I made fundamental mistake by not including these additives from the start. So my client stayed very quiet during the whole day. So it was a whole day like that. But afterward, we had a conversation, we talked about it, and we were definitely on the same page. This food scientist actually never asked about the brand values, he never asked about the constraints, and he never asked what we wanted to achieve and why. He came with his own mindset, which I will call the traditional food science mindset. If there is a problem, add an additive. If the texture isn't perfect, add a stabilizer. If the emulsion is not perfect, add an emulsifier. And my client actually told me something very interesting. She said he's an academic. He wants to create the perfect product using all of the tools he has. He's not thinking about commercial reality or what the consumer actually wants. And she's absolutely right. His job wasn't to change the entire product. His job was to help us find solutions to scale up the product We've created the product that actually align with my client's values. But he couldn't see past his trainings and years of experience and years of doing the same thing. To him, food science equals additive. And not using additive, you are certainly doing it wrong. So you want to know what we did? We actually proved him he was wrong. We ran about 4 pilot plant trials. We changed the fat, we changed the temperature, we made few little tweaks, and we actually succeeded. And we scaled up the product without adding the additives he wanted. No lecithin, no guar gum, no gelan gum. None of them. Don't get me wrong, the product is still not perfect. It still doesn't look like a mass market commercial product, but that was never the objective. My client has a product that aligns with her values, that she can market authentically and stand for something in a crowded marketplace. And as food scientist who was so sure it couldn't be done, he was wrong. Even him, he admitted that that was, a quote, a great product. Now, I'm sharing this story not just to vent about my frustrating experience. I'm sharing it because this is a pattern I've seen in the food industry. And if you are a food and drink brand and want to create a clean label product, you need to be aware of this. And I know because I am myself a trained food scientist. So the traditional food science training is to create product with additive-first in mind because they have to look perfect. The ham needs to look perfectly pink, even if a ham will naturally never have that color. Every shape has to be perfect. Everything has to look perfect. It basically teaches all of us food scientists that the way you solve problems is basically to add additives, whatever they are, emulsifiers, stabilizer, textures, or preservatives. Don't get me wrong, there is a place for these ingredients. Not all of the additives are bad, but the problem is when this is the only solution someone can see. When you're working with someone who's been trained that way and has this mindset, and you tell them you want a clean label product, they won't see it as a great creative or innovative challenge. They will see you as, you are making my job impossible. They don't understand why you should work with constraints like this, why you wouldn't use the easy solution. But here is what they're missing. The markets have changed. Consumers have changed. Clean label is not just a nice to have anymore. It's a differentiator, it's a selling point, and it's what sets you apart in the crowded market. And yes, it is bloody harder. It requires more creativity, more problem solving, more thinking outside of the box. But it is absolutely possible. So if you are a food and drink brand and you want to launch a new product with clean label ambitions, here are a few red flags to watch when you're working with either a food scientist, some facilities, or consultants. Red flag number 1, they never ask about your brand values or constraints upfront. If someone doesn't start by understanding what you're trying to achieve and why, that's a problem. They should be asking about your positioning, your target consumers, and your non-negotiable. Red flag number 2. They jump straight to solution without understanding the brief. If their first response to any problem is add this ingredient, add this additive, without exploring why the problem is happening or what other alternative exists, be cautious. Red flag number 3, they dismiss clean label as impossible or impractical. If someone makes you feel you're being difficult or unrealistic for wanting to avoid certain ingredients, they are definitely not the right partner for you. And red flag number 4, they prioritize perfection over authenticity. Not every product needs to look absolutely flawless. Sometimes a slightly imperfect shape or appearance is actually a sign of quality, of real ingredients, of no additives. And if someone can't understand that, they don't understand modern food marketing. So what should you do to protect yourself and your product vision? First, brief everyone upfront about your non-negotiables. Before you book that facility, before you start that pilot run, make it crystal clear what ingredient will not compromise on. Put it in writing if you need to. If you're working with no seed oils, no sugar, no additive, whatever your constraints are, make sure everyone involved knows this from day one. And don't assume they will understand or respect it. Second, choose your partners carefully. Ask questions before you commit. Ask them about their experience with clean label formulation. Ask them how they approach problem solving, especially when certain ingredients are off the table, and listen to how they respond. If they immediately start telling you why it will be difficult or why you should reconsider, that's telling you something, isn't it? Third, trust your vision. If you've done your market research, if you understand your target consumer, if you have clear brand values, don't let someone else's expertise talk you out of it. Yes, listen to technical advice for sure. And yes, be open to adjustments. But don't let someone completely change your product just because it's actually easier for them. And fourth, be prepared to walk away or push back. In that pilot plan, I could have caved. I could have added the lecithin and the guar gum and listened to him and made everyone's life easier. But it would have compromised the entire product and my client's vision. Sometimes you need to stand firm and say, no, we are finding another way. And this is why I work the way I do. This is why I always respect my clients' constraints. This is why I see clean label as an innovative challenge, not a problem. When the clients send me they want no additive, no sugar, no allergen, I don't straight away tell them it won't work. I ask, okay, what are we working with? What's the base? What are the options? And I'm going to do my best to respect every of your requirements. And yes, I can imagine, and if you listen to other episodes of my podcast, you know that sometimes I can go to 200 trials. So it also means more problem solving. And the project I told you about today, we did 4 pilot runs. Other consultants may have stopped after one and declared it just impossible. But to me, that is the interesting work. That's the work that actually make a difference for food and drink brands trying to stand out in the market. So if you are a food and drink brand launching a new product, especially something plant-based, functional, clean label, please learn from this experience. Not all food scientists understand clean label formulation. Not all technical experts will respect your brand values. And some people will try to talk you out of your vision because it's actually harder for them. But your vision matters and your values matters. And there are people out there who will work with you, not against you. The right partner won't try to change your product. They will help you solve problems within your constraints. They will see the challenges as interesting, not impossible. And when you succeed and you launch that clean label product you're so proud of, you will know you didn't compromise. You stay true to what you set out to create. That's it for today's episode. I hope this story helped you avoid a similar situation. And if you're currently working with someone who is making you feel like your clean label ambition is unrealistic, maybe it's time to find a different partner. If you're launching a plant-based or functional product and you need someone who actually understands your clean label challenges and will work within your constraint, that is exactly what I do with my Create, Choose and Fix packages. I respect your values, I work with your constraints, and I don't give up until we find the solution. And if you found this episode helpful, I have a favor to ask. Please leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast. Your review genuinely helps this podcast grow and make it more visible to other food and drink brands who are struggling with the same challenges you may be facing. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye!